It needs to be like that. It needs to be no outsiders. It needs to be, you need to have your team and your focus, and that's it. I don't need friends that aren't involved in this game.
Michael Jordan's the only player that could ever turn it on and off, and he never freaking turned it off.
Jordan, look at that!
And so I sat there for a while, and I was like, man, I got it. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period.
My mind, but regardless of that, not quitting and not giving up on myself. No matter how hard is the time or what I'm going through and whatever shit I feel, I'm gonna still put in the same work regardless of how I feel, and that's a champion mentality, because a champion's not controlled by their outside circumstances. They control their own mind inside and how they act, and then the world goes on around them.
Shit sucks right now. I was like, I'm working 80 hours, 100 hours a week, every hour of every day. I gave up football. I gave up Netflix. And what I started doing was writing down the things that I was willing to sacrifice for my goal rather than the things that I was willing to do.
Conor McGregor became obsessed. Michael Jordan created impossible standards. David Goggins literally killed the old version of himself.
I had to invent a guy that didn't exist. I had to invent a guy that can take any pain, any suffering, any kind of judgment, be called nigger, be called whatever the fuck in the world, and be able to stand in the fucking room and say, go fuck yourself.
LeBron James refused to let a 3-1 deficit define his legacy. Alex Hormozi disappeared from the spotlight while building businesses almost nobody knew existed. Different sports, different industries, different personalities, different lives, yet somehow they all follow the same path. Not because they copied each other, but because greatness has always demanded the same path. There comes a moment in every exceptional person's life where they stop negotiating with themselves, and most people never reach that moment. And the few who do, though, they remember forever. Now, we love believing greatness is something that you're born with, talent, genetics, luck, because if greatness belongs to only gifted people, then none of us are responsible for falling short. That sounds comforting, but history keeps proving otherwise, and almost every legendary figure has a moment where their life splits into two different chapters. The person they were before, and the person they decided to become. Now that decision didn't make the work easier. It made the excuses disappear. Now long before the sold-out arenas, before the tailored suits, before becoming the two-time double champ, there was a young plumber from Ireland. His life wasn't glamorous. His future wasn't guaranteed. What separated him wasn't his left hand. It was that picture that he carried in his mind.
What is your dream?
My dream is to be world lightweight champion in the UFC, have more money than I know what to do with, and have a great life for my kids, my grandkids, everyone in my family, everyone that's come up with me. That's my dream. My dream is to be number one, pretty much. My goal is number one MMA.
He spoke about championships before he even had them, and people called him delusional, but he called it certainty. And he trained with this intensity that matched the identity that he had inside of his head. By the time the world believed in Conor McGregor, Conor had already believed in himself for years. Different man, same decision. David Goggins didn't slowly improve. He declared a little war on a version of his old self. Nearly 300 pounds, spraying for cockroaches, working jobs that led nowhere. Every excuse was available to him.
Everybody was to blame. My learning disability, my skin color, me being everything. And so I sat there for a while, and I was like, man, I got it. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period. And so I had to man up, and I said, the first thing I gotta start doing is facing every fucking fear I have, no matter what the fuck it is, man.
He had a learning disorder. He was beaten as a child. He had all these racial kind of profiles that were going against him. Every excuse was available to him. Then one day, upon self-reflecting, he had to confront a reality. That person that he saw in the mirror simply wasn't good enough.
I had to invent a guy that didn't exist. I had to invent a guy that can take any pain, any suffering, any kind of judgment, be called nigger, be called whatever the fuck in the world, and be able to stand in the fucking room and say, go fuck yourself. I had to build this callous mind, and I built it through suffering. I built it through downright fucking just crushing myself. If it was raining outside at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, if it was snowing, the first instinct is don't go out there and do shit. My instinct was, we gotta fucking go out there. Anything that was fucking horrible in my life that I would normally say no, that was inhumane to most people, I had to go do it.
From that point forward, his life became an exercise in proving that old version of himself wrong. He wasn't chasing motivation, he was building evidence. Evidence that he could become somebody else. Different man, same decision. Now, Chris Bumstead represents this other kind of greatness. No screaming speeches, no dramatic personality, just repetition. The same meals, the same workouts, the same posing practices, the same discipline for years. People see championships, they don't see the regular Tuesday or the Wednesday or thousands of other ordinary days that look just the same. Because greatness often isn't built on extraordinary days or extraordinary moments. It's built on those painfully ordinary ones. Different man, same decision. Success today is usually marketed as fast. Quick money, quick fame, quick freedom. Hormozi chose something almost nobody wants. Boring, reading, selling, learning, building, failing, repeating, again and again and again. And while everybody searched for shortcuts, he became exceptional at the fundamentals. Locking in rarely looks exciting while it's happening.
I was going from 6 locations to 10. Now I ultimately talked to a mentor, decided to sell my locations, turn into licensing. And I was like, shit sucks right now. I was like, I'm working 80 hours, 100 hours a week, every hour of every day. I gave up football. I gave up Netflix. And what I started doing was writing down the things that I was willing to sacrifice for my goal rather than things that I was willing to do. Because a lot of times people have these really big to-do lists, but what I don't think people do is make really big to-don't lists.
That's why so few people recognize it while it's happening. Different man, same decision. Michael Jordan wasn't driven because he loved winning. He was driven because he simply fucking hated losing. Every practice mattered, every possession mattered. Every weakness demanded attention. The opponent was almost secondary. Jordan basically competed with a version of himself from yesterday.
When people see this, they're going to say, well, he wasn't really a nice guy. He may have been a tyrant. Oh, well, that's you. Because you never won anything.
His greatest rival was complacency. Different man, same decision. Then came 2016. Down 3 games to 1 against a team that just won 73 games in the regular season. Arguably one of the greatest regular season teams in NBA history. Most people accepted reality. LeBron didn't.
This is what Bron said. Like, don't get on this fucking plane if you don't think we can win this game. We don't need none of this. He's like, we got the team we need to win. We just got to lock in. So like they locked in even more.
He didn't guarantee victory with emotions. He responded with preparation, execution, possession after possession, game after game, and breaking it down to the most simplest aspect, one game at a time. Until one chase down block became one of the greatest defining moments in sports history. Pressure didn't reveal who LeBron was. Pressure revealed what years of preparation built. Different man, same decision. Now notice something. Connor's loud. Jordan was ruthless. LeBron is composed. Hormozi is analytical. Chris Bumstead is quiet. Goggins is relentless. Completely different personalities. Completely different lives. Yet every one of them arrived at the same place. First, they became absolutely clear on what they wanted. Next, they accepted that comfort had to go. Then they repeated difficult actions long after the excitement disappeared. Now, that very part is what people call locking in. Not on a weekend, not on a motivational speech, not on a New Year's resolution, but a simple, sustained refusal to negotiate with yourself. And maybe that's why greatness is so rare, because the work itself isn't hidden. Everybody knows they should train, and forgive how I look, by the way. It's 1 a.m. I just ran 14.5 miles after a long day at work, so even now I'm following suit with this because also everybody knows they should read more, they should practice, they should study, they should sleep better and get some better recovery. The secret isn't information. Everybody knows that. The secret is consistency after the feeling disappears. Every legend you watch today eventually reached the same crossroads. One path led back to comfort. The other demanded sacrifice. Again and again and again. And they weren't remembered because they chose correctly once. They were remembered because they kept making the same decision, the same choice, every single day. And maybe you who are watching this are standing at the same crossroads right now, not deciding whether you'll become the next LeBron, the next Jordan, the next Goggins. You're deciding something much simpler. Whether today you're finally done negotiating with yourself, because history remembers different names, but it always remembers the same decision. And as always, it's been your boy Coach Ed. See you later.